Welcome to Summed Up, the series where I take a game or piece of game media, summarize it, and then give it back to you. In this one, I go over Darksiders. Since the dawn of time, the kingdoms of heaven and hell have waged war on one another. Then, the Charred Council, an entity whose job is to keep the balance of the universe, intervened. They created the Seven Seals in order to form a truce between the two warring kingdoms and give time for the new kingdom of man to grow in peace. When the third kingdom was ready, the Seven Seals would be broken, war would begin anew, and the three kingdoms would face against each other for the fate of the universe. As humans are going about their daily lives, meteors start coming down from the sky. From the craters, creatures emerge, angels and demons. They fight each other and tear through the humans. Then, from one of the craters, a lone creature rises. The horseman of the apocalypse, War, has arrived to punish the wicked. As War fights the forces of both heaven and hell, he slowly begins to lose his powers. The horseman comes across Abaddon, leader of the Hell Guard, heaven's forces, who is disbelieving of War's presence on the battlefield. War drops down to his knees, feeling even weaker. Due to his shock, the angel lets his guard down and is captured by a demon and squashed like a bug. War fights the demon, and as he readies to kill it, the horseman is sapped of all his strength and falls to the ground, barely able to stand. The demon picks him up and squashes him, much like he did to Abaddon. Then War kneels before the Charred Council. They claim that he has broken the law, tipped the balance, assisted the forces of hell, and doomed humanity. That the horseman may only charge when the Seven Seals have been broken, and the seals remain intact and hidden. Yet, War was found under the Destroyer's banner, a lone horseman on the battlefield. War replies that he heard the call, and when he arrived, heaven and hell were already fighting. That he fought powerless against demons. He then asked the council to send him back so he can find those responsible. The council grants his request, but he is bound to the Watcher, an entity loyal to the council with the job of ensuring War's loyalty. As soon as they arrive on Earth, the Watcher exerts his dominance. War is chained to him, and the Watcher has the power to bring him down to his knees or even kill him altogether. When War gets a good look at the city he's arrived in, he asks the Watcher how long he was gone for. It replies that he was out for a century and that humanity is extinct. Soon after, as per the council's orders, War finds Bulgrim, a demon who had fallen out of the Destroyer's favor and is now a freelancer. It now acts as a humble merchant, exchanging information and favors for souls. Once the horseman gives him souls, he points out a tower. There lies the answers War seeks about the Destroyer. But the path to the tower is shrouded in demon magic, and Volgrim doesn't know the way through. However, he tells him to seek out Samael, another demon and enemy of the Destroyer. He knows the way. War finds Samael's prison and, after killing the guard, has a little chat with the demon. It tells him that the Destroyer's tower is guarded by 4 of his chosen. If War kills them and brings Samael their hearts, he'll get him to the tower. Oh, and no questions asked. As he makes his way to the Bat Queen Tiamat, the first of the chosen, War finds a squad of angels looking for something. Knowing he's about to get caught, the horseman attacks one of the angels riding a griffin and makes a run for it. Or should I say a fly for it? After having outrun the angels, War makes it to the Twilight Cathedral, where Tiamat has gone to roost. There, him and his winged steed are attacked by the demon herself. He falls to the ground while the griffin and Tiamat fly away, locked in combat. After running through her cathedral, War finds, fights, and kills Tiamat. He tears out her heart, and the Watcher points out that it's coursing with power, which must be why Samael wants the hearts of the chosen. Once War brings the heart to Samael, the demon tells him that the next chosen he should seek out is the Griever. But there is someone the horseman must face first. Ulthane, one of the old ones. The black hammer must be removed in order to reach the Griever. But for that, Samael claims he will need strength he does not yet have. The demon goes on to explain that the Watcher is suppressing the horseman's power in order for him to do the council's bidding. He then tells War that he must kill the Watcher if he wishes to be free of his chains. As a great rage stirs within War, he punches at the Watcher. The Watcher later gets up, confused and seemingly unscathed, but a great power has been reawoken within the rider of the red horse. War finds the hammer and attempts to lift it, but in true Thor fashion, he can't. Seems like War isn't worthy. Then Ulthane shows up, not kind to having visitors popping up in his little slice of earth. After some talking, the horseman realizes something. The hammer on the ground isn't what he's looking for, because Ulthane and the Black Hammer are actually one and the same. They fight it out, but the brawl is interrupted by Uriel and a squad of angels. She has come searching for War, accuses him of killing Abaddon, and says that he must stand trial for his crimes. However, ever since the Destroyer came to power, they have not been able to get into heaven and the White City. So Uriel decides that his punishment will be dealt out here and now by her blade. Ulthane doesn't care what they want with War and tells the pigeons to go away. They can have the horsemen after they're done fighting. But since they won't leave, the Old One decides to make them leave with his hammer. Ulthane exchanges their fight for a little friendly competition in the surrounding areas. Whoever kills the most angels wins. War manages to rack up the higher body count, or wing count, and the big guy declares him the victor. But when they make it back to where this all started, Uriel is there waiting, and she attacks War. The horseman defeats the angel, and she's carried off by two members of what remains of her squad. Ulthane congratulates him on his victory and adds that he might actually be one of the horsemen, but he still isn't convinced. The Old One opens the path to the Griever and tells War that if he truly wants to convince him that he is War, one of the horsemen of the apocalypse and rider of the red horse, to go kill the Griever and make it back alive. Then they'll talk. War hunts down the Griever, kills it, takes its heart, and returns to Ulthane, and then begins to question him. He wasn't always known as the Black Hammer. Why is he on Earth? What part did he play in this thing? The Old One ignores the questions and instead throws War a gun he crafted for him. The horseman reiterates his questions and points the gun at Ulthane. Still, the Black Hammer refuses to answer, and so War walks away. Back with Samael, the demon has been pretty up to date with everything that's been going on, surprising on account of him being imprisoned and all. Since the demon knows so much, War asks him about Uriel. According to Samael, Uriel's feelings for Abaddon went beyond the professional, which would explain her dedication to bringing down his killer. When War speaks of the demon that killed Abaddon, Samael adds that his name is Strega, the strongest of the chosen, but in order to get there, Samael requires the heart of the Stygian next. While on his way to the Stygian, War falls into an arena where he's made to fight against wave after wave of demons. Then, one lone demon comes out riding a horse, War's horse, Ruin. Once the demon is dead, the horseman has to retame his own horse. After getting knocked around a bit by Ruin, the horse accepts him once more and it's time to get out of there. War finds the Stygian chained up and being worshipped, or being poked fun at. The entire scene is very unclear, by a crowd of demons. It manages to free itself and starts killing the demons. Yeah, I think they were poking fun at it. When it's only the giant worm and War left, they fight it out. War kills the Stygian and takes its heart to Samael. One more to go. While gorging on the heart, Samael tells War about the last of the chosen that he must face before getting to the tower. Silitha, the Broodmother, a spider and collector of stories and information. When he reaches her lair, Silitha starts to tell War a story of sorts. She tells him how the power of Samael came to beat within their hearts. It is not the Chosen's job to protect the tower. The Chosen's job is to prevent Samael's return to power, for once he has gathered his power once more, he will be a greater threat than all of the Chosen put together. Nevertheless, War has a job to do, so he kills her and rips out her accursed heart. When War returns to Samael, he confronts him about his lies. The demon shrugs him off and tells him that he will get him to the tower. After Samael eats the heart and his power returns, he exclaims that he is now like a god and could kill War where he stands. But he won't. He lives by a code. He is a demon of honor, and he respects a quest for revenge when he sees one. When War enters the tower, he finds Azrael, the angel of death, imprisoned within the tower. Azrael asks for help, to be freed, and to bring down the tower because it is connected to the Well of Souls, and from the well, the Destroyer draws his power. But War knows that the angel is the watcher of the well, and there's only one way the Destroyer could have gained access to it. Azrael must have given it to him. The angel explains that the Destroyer sent Strega for him, and he didn't stand a chance. War agrees to help Azrael. In exchange, the angel will take him to Strega. In the process of freeing him, Azrael begins to explain how everything happened. Abaddon saw that hell was growing far too powerful, so he called upon Azrael's help to break all of the seals so they could weed out hell's leaders to one place and defeat them all then and there. The angel also enlisted the help of Ulthane to reforge the seals and make it seem as if they were always intact. Hell would have broken the treaty and heaven would have brought them to justice. They'd break all of the seals but one. They didn't dare involve the horseman. Upon hearing the angel's confession, War tells the Watcher that his service is done. He was not in the wrong. But the Watcher has other plans and forces him to carry out the job. He will seek all involved and eliminate them. Once freed, Azrael opens the path to Strega, which just so happened to be right under his prison. The Watcher orders War to eliminate him because he is no longer useful, but Azrael argues that if they do, they'll be trapped in the tower once Strega is dealt with. The demon and the tower are one. Without the angel's help, once Strega is dead, there will be no escape. War makes it deep inside the tower, where the giant Strega awaits. Even though he brags about being the strongest of the chosen, the demon still falls to War's power. As soon as Strega is dead, the tower starts to crumble and collapse on itself. Azrael shows up in time and opens up a portal within the Well of Souls to get them all out of there. The portal takes them to Eden. There, Azrael explains that he met with Abaddon after he was killed and brought him to the garden. Abaddon went up to the Tree of Knowledge, but Azrael knows not what it showed him. The angel explains that War must now go to the tree. If there is a way to defeat the Destroyer, it will show him how. The tree shows War visions of the past, present, and future. Abaddon enlisting Uriel for his plan, the Archangel being offered a way out of his predicament after he fell, to become the Destroyer and rule in hell rather than be taken in and punished by the Council, an offer which he took. The Council arguing that Abaddon must be punished, but they've no proof of his crimes. If they were to send any of his enforcers against him, it would not be justice, just murder. So they resolved to send one for whom vengeance would be more than enough of a reason. The Destroyer, guarding the seventh seal and attacking the White City. Uriel, leading a counterattack and failing. The Watcher, revealing that War's mission was a suicide mission. War being killed, stabbed through the back. And then, the tree grants him one last gift. The hilt of a blade that can kill the Destroyer. War returns to Azrael and the Watcher and tells them what he learned. The same sword that broke the seals can kill the Destroyer. The angel explains that the Armageddon blade was destroyed under Abaddon's orders, to which War replies by showing him that he has the hilt and so the blade can be forged anew. He goes on to tell them the location of the seventh seal and the attack by Uriel, but leaves out all he learned about the truth of his mission. Once back on Earth, Azrael explains that the pieces of the Armageddon blade were scattered. War is to find the shards and take them to Ulthane so it can be reforged. While searching for the shards, War is found by Uriel. She's come alone and challenges him to next Sacramentum. It is a duel, a death oath. The oath cannot be broken until one falls at the blade of the other. He defeats her but doesn't kill her, and when she states that he swore an oath, he tells her the truth about Abaddon. Once War has gathered all the pieces, he takes them to Ulthane to forge the Armageddon blade once more. All the while, Uriel leads the attack on the destroyer, doomed to fail. War returns to Azrael, who helps him one last time by sending him to the White Gates. There, he finds the destroyer holding an unconscious Uriel. The demon makes him the same offer that was made to him once: join him or be damned. War's words said it best.
I choose what once a coward did not.
And so, they fight. Having defeated the destroyer in his dragon form, he falls to the ground, and through the ground. What rises is the angel-like form of Abaddon, now a demon. War defeats him in this form as well, this time killing him. As the demon dies, the seventh seal falls from his hand. War picks up the seal when he is suddenly attacked by the Watcher. It tells War about how the council set him up to take down Abaddon as his quest for clearing his name, when truly he was just doing their bidding. Now he is to go back to prison. War rises, laughing, when suddenly he is struck through the back by the Armageddon blade. Uriel completed the next sacramentum, a mercy kill, to free War from going back to imprisonment. She then attacks the Watcher. It raises its hands to shield itself, and the blade strikes the seventh seal, breaking it. With the seventh seal finally broken, War rises once again, and decides to open up a can of whoop-ass on the Watcher. After beating him around for a bit, he finally kills it. Uriel then asks what War plans to do. He's going to be hunted by the White City, the Council, the remaining forces of Hell, and who knows what else. How can he fight against all of that alone? War states that he won't be fighting alone, as 3 streaks of light fall from the sky. The seventh seal has been broken. The horsemen of the apocalypse now ride. I absolutely love that ending. Do you think the Force Horsemen could take on basically the universe? Click that like button if you liked the video, subscribe if you really liked it. This has been Lore Logs Summed Up, and I'll see you next time.